TC Title Guy podcast. It's been a crazy busy time for me right now. Yeah, real estate's picking up. It's March. Getting a little bit warmer outside. Cold, warm. I think I heard 60 next Tuesday maybe, which is fantastic. I love it. This is really my busiest time of the year as I teach a lot of Con Ed, business development with agents. I was up in Charlotte yesterday, met with a realtor. Shout out to you, Shelly Novotny. She's going to start her own podcast highlighting Charlotte the Beautiful. Love it. So we came up with a strategy for her, got a logo out there, got the name, shot a video with her, edited it, sent it out. And then she got 2 people when she went into local shops this morning that said, hey, I want to be on your show. Didn't even ask them. Exposure, value deals, right? You get the picture. That's what I do for my business strategy. I don't pay for business, just offer opportunities to grow your business and then earn business. Great interview today. If you don't know who this is, they say that the term is you have a face for radio. Well, if you don't know who Omelette is, because you always hear him, you will recognize the voice. This is Steve Normandin, Omelette, the Omelette Finster Morning Show, or is it?
It's Omelette Finster.
Okay.
Yep. And we're on the morning show. Yep.
So if you recognize that voice now, this is Omelette. Omelette and I go back a little ways, about 10 years about now.
For sure, at least.
Yep. And so we're not really going to have any strategy on what we want to talk about today other than, figure out what Omelette's doing in life and how we met and all that kind of stuff. So I remember, man, this was I don't even know what time of the year this was. We were driving north and then all of a sudden I hear you promoting the Beaver Island Music Festival.
Yeah.
Yep. Your first year up there.
Yeah, Beaver Island Music Festival was where I met you for the first time, and I think you were on WBVI.
VBI. Voice of Beaver Island.
Okay, Voice of Beaver Island. And you invited me to come to be interviewed by you on that community radio station, and I was happy to do it. I mean, it's the first time I've been to Beaver Island. So we take the boat or the plane over. I can't remember because it's been so many years since then. And your father listens to the show, and you listened to the show, and you interviewed me, and your family was super nice to me. I think I stayed at your house, and they offered me a car, and the Beaver Island. There's the whole mentality of being on Beaver Island is much different than the mainland, as they say on the island. Called it the mainland. We have to go to the mainland, it's like a chore to have to do that because everybody loves it there so much. And I think your father took me through the Beaver Island car wash,
tell me about the car wash.
Which is basically driving into Lake Michigan, and everybody's got a 40 on them, and I mean it's just crazy. It's so friendly, so tranquil. It's beautiful. The people are nice. I mean, it's really some people are they go shh. And I'm like, dude, I got to promote it. But they don't want it to be overrun with people. I can understand
COVID did that, man. That island got boofed up that without you. I mean,
I know,
COVID
but they just
boofed up that island like crazy.
Yeah, because people started seeking out remote locations to live since everybody worked online and Zoom proved.
Speaking of real estate, people were like, oh, I can get this much frontage on Lake Michigan on a private island, and I've never been there. I live in California or New York City.
Yeah.
Sold right on Sunrise Scene.
I had a couple of friends that went over because of the Island Fest, and we were promoting it. And Green Arrow, my friend, bought a piece of land on the water and built a home and had to make a driveway. And I mean, now he's living the good life. I mean,
is he on the island still living?
He's part-time like everybody else. He does work on the mainland, and then he goes over there as much as possible. And I love Beaver Island. I've been going there for, 10, 12 years. I broadcast the morning show from there. I hardly even go to the music festival anymore because I've accumulated these friends. Shout out to Sue Snow, who lives on the water, Heaven on Earth place. She's a retired teacher. And I think she spends some winters there, which I couldn't imagine being there, because there's no transportation.
I've been talking to my buddy this winter, and he says it's been so much snow, he's sick of it. He actually works for the county road commission up there. Yeah, he's sick of it right now.
And the guy that is the mechanic on the island is also a bartender, and he's also
Who's that?
Duffy.
Oh, he's a bartender now too?
Oh, he does it all. And he's a musician, and people wear different hats on the island, which is great. The girl that serves you breakfast the morning after was your bartender last night. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so cool. And people, again, I just love Beaver Island, man. It's a different thing, and it's hard to explain unless you go there. I mean, there's no chains. There's, everybody's just, the heart rate goes down. You could meet somebody on the sidewalk in front of the Shamrock, and you talk to them for like a half hour, 45 minutes. You just said hi. Oh, where are you from? Blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's just that kind of mentality. It's kind of probably like what Key West was like in the 40s or the 30s,
Okay.
When it was just a bunch of hippies and drug dealers. But anyway, yeah, that's a great place. You're in the real estate business. I'm thinking about dipping my toe in this summer or in the spring, start looking for some properties. I'm looking for a place to live. I'm getting the tail end of the divorce and settlement on my old house. So I want to make a real estate move.
So, Omelette is not a realtor. Omelette's not a lender. Omelette is my buddy. I've obviously interviewed other people on the show that are direct clients or referral partners. Omelette's more of just a buddy who could close a deal with us. It doesn't really matter. It's my show. I can interview whoever I want. I just like having Omelette on the show because it creates exposure for me, and I just think he's just a good dude. He's my buddy, and I think it would be entertaining for people that watch the show. So,
well, Beav, I call you Beav because you used to work on the KLT Morning Show.
Yep.
You were an intern. You decided to move to Traverse City, and as a result of that, you are married and you have children now. And I remember when that was all still coming together. She lived in Colorado, and we were talking about it all on the air.
Yep.
And it might have been, I don't know, one of these websites where you swipe right or swipe left.
I remember one time we were sitting on the radio, and he's like, "Hey man, I think I might have this video. I think I recorded on my phone." He's like, "Hey man," I want you to do some impersonations, and our guests are gonna try to think of what they are for the Star Wars characters."
Not knowing it was a Star Wars Day, May 5th. May the 5th be with you.
And that's actually Adeline's birthday, my 2-year-old.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep, she's almost three now.
That's awesome.
Go ahead.
No, but we just did it. We were thinking of some way we could give away. So without knowing that you knew any of these characters, we just thought you did Chewbacca and Yoda, and it was ridiculous because you didn't do very well with the impressions, but it was enough that people got them.
Right.
But it's funny. It's just stupid, funny. Like one time we did, this is even dumber than that, is that we do sound effects with and people get a drill or something.
With your mouth?
Okay. Yeah, we have nothing but, it's just stupid.
So what's
a truck backing up, so people are going to guess what it is.
Oh, okay, I got to backtrack a little bit. I think I talked about this in episode 1, but this guy, and I'm not just tooting his brown nosing or tooting his horn right now, but this guy, it's because of him that I moved to Traverse City. So we met doing the interview. I was into radio. I had a broadcasting degree, yada, yada. And obviously that tailors into this job now. It's kind of a unique thing. Nobody else does what I do in Northern Michigan. I don't want to go down that road. But anyways, Omelette's like, "Hey man, you want to come do some promotions, drive the radio truck around," which I used to do that. And that's why I moved to Traverse City initially. So, and then. Yeah, and
you, I noticed right away, you do have a flair for broadcasting. You do. You're outgoing, you're high energy, you have a great ability to communicate. And those are the building blocks of doing this type of thing. Some people, and when I first started, I didn't want to be on the air. I didn't have any confidence in an ability to speak. I just wanted to work at a radio station. It'd be cool to, they go to concerts, they have the van, they broadcast live. There's a lot of behind the scenes jobs, and I would just be happy to work at a radio station. But as I drove across the country, I used to drive from Miami to Boston, where I was going to school and where my parents are from, where I grew up. And I listened to all these radio stations up and down the seaboard. Like, I'm listening to a little town in Georgia.
Yeah.
And this radio personalities were horrible. But I was used to Miami and Boston, where they're like, very well established, highly paid, high, talent. But the smaller towns, I was like, I could do that. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that you're in radio, but now we're in Traverse City. I've been here for almost 20 years and developed a niche. Sometimes you move to a town that doesn't work. I mean, they just don't like you for some reason.
Yeah.
And then, but for Traverse City, thank God it worked,
Yeah.
Beach town, resort town, tourist town, real estate is, it's not cheap to live here anymore.
I think I saw this yesterday. Number 4 it's number 4 county, or number 3 or number 4 county in the state for medium house pricing.
So speaking of real estate, speaking to your business, now I'm faced with how far out of town will I have to move so that I could afford something? Do I have to move to Buckley? Do I have to move to Kalkaska? Because, you get more for your money in those towns.
Here's my recommendation. My recommendation to any buyer right now that is, affordable is a subjective. It's the beauty of the eyes of the beholder kind of thing. Okay. So, in my opinion, buy now, refinance later. If you need financing, because rates have actually started to dip a little bit. They went actually below 6%, but now they've risen a little bit.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If you're going to get down into, let's say I want to be in like the low 5s to buy a home, you're right back into all the competition. There comes the influx of all the buyers. And lenders and realtors, partners of mine in this industry will tell you the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So
I just want to be able to see the ground before I buy it. See what the actual house looks like, because the snow is melting, and now it. Now we're.
Yeah. So we're going into, usually springtime there's going to be a lot more inventory coming back on the market, which also brings more buyers.
Yeah.
Which potentially could add more competition. So I to understand where you're coming from that standpoint, for sure. Yeah.
I'm factoring in my age, how long I want to pay back a loan, what I could afford, what my, if I'm going to get a 2-1 little mini house in Traverse City, I could probably maybe get a 3-2 if I'm willing to commute.
And some yardage.
And some yard. I got to have a fire pit. I want to have a dog. I could put in a fence. But, these are the wonderful things in life that we want, right?
By the way,
right now I'm in a shoebox apartment.
By the way, Omelette has an agent. He has a realtor. So
I do.
Just so you know, don't try to
calm down there. Everybody's foaming at the mouth. But yes, I do. I have a friend. His name is Jack Lane, and he works at the radio station. He does this Saturday morning show called Ask the Real Estate Guy.
Okay.
And I listen to it, and I just listen to the show, and he doesn't always talk about real estate. It's not really a hard sell. But he talks, he does talk about the market. He does talk about value. He talks about lakefront properties. He talks about what the trends seem to be. He talks about curbside appeal. He talks about getting your house ready for sale. He talks about, the market dips and the Fed and, the interest rates. And so I'm just by being a listener, I feel like I'm knowing more and more, but I'm at a stage where I'm just learning the market, really. Like I'm just, I'm on Zillow. I'm just seeing what you get for what money and how long that house has been on the market. Are they out of their minds? Or is this like, dude, we better get on this right now?
Yeah.
Home inspectors, things like this.
This is also a recommendation, but also the actual truth of the current market. Even though the rates have come down a little bit, but they actually jumped back up just recently after they just went down below 6%. Actually, you have to factor in good credit and all that kind of stuff too, right? But a lot of people, even on lower less than medium house incomes in this county, if that makes sense, are offering under price. So if a person has had a house out there for a certain amount of time and it's been sitting on the market, let's say 100 days, don't be afraid to offer 15% under, because that's the current trends.
Okay. So, I'm not ready for a bidding war.
No. And
that's when people are offering you more than what the asking price is, and then you get another person say, "Well, I'll go higher." But the trend seems to go the other way with a down market. And I'm not saying down, but nationally, real estate's down 6%. I heard that on the news.
They say, when I talk with real estate professionals here locally, it's a leveled out market.
Okay.
Leveled out. And
well, that's good for me.
Well, yeah, it's. I wouldn't. People have been saying it's buyer's market. I wouldn't call it buyer's market necessarily, because I mean, you could still get. I mean, compared to 5 years ago or so, pre-COVID, you're still gaining a lot of more income in your home. That's 100 and something% up from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, here's the problem is that I bought an old farmhouse in 2010 for $150.
Right.
And now we just it's worth 500, 600,000 now. That's amazing. In 15 years?
Yep.
What a great investment. I mean, there was a lot of sweat equity because it was in rough shape.
Did you ever end up doing anything with the barn?
No.
I just
still got that barn. The barn wood is worth more than the barn.
Oh, really?
That isn't even part of the real estate assessment.
Appraisal.
Appraisals don't even look at that. That has no value. But the barn wood is valuable. Yeah, people love that barn wood.
Take that off and sell it, man.
I know. Well, I'm not with that house anymore. Anyway, it's kind of fun learning about it and dreaming of having something more than a shoebox apartment and having an investment and gaining equity and hopefully gaining value. Well, but I just want a bigger place to live, and I feel like rent it's just so deflating to pay somebody else's mortgage.
Here's the thing, and I can speak to this because I've had a couple of clients tell me this. Grand Traverse County and Mackinac Island, I don't know if any other counties, I'm sure the ones surrounding the water here, right after the recent recession back in 08, 09-ish, these areas stayed pretty solid.
Right.
They did. You could still, you probably had a little bit of a dip, but from what I understand, from what they tell me, these areas, no matter what, you can feel comfortable knowing eventually from whatever you bought a home previously or currently, it's going to still gain in the future. It's not even if it dips down eventually, it's still going to go right back up. Because this is a sought after area. This is vacation land or whatever you want to call it. So.
Yeah, I'm just trying to weigh out the pros and cons of buying and what I'll have to finance. And, I have a nice down payment, but I don't want to pay a 30-year mortgage. I'll be 85 at the time. So maybe I'll get a 30-year mortgage. We're going to pay it down real fast. That's the plan anyway, but I don't know what that monthly amount is yet. But right now it's fine. I'm assessing the market without knowing anything.
If you don't have a loan officer, I know some great ones, but that's at your discretion. I mean, so for my position, and I'll try to explain to you, I've kind of just been blessed, and I get to implement value add and show agents how to learn to do new stuff to stay front of mind with their clients or earn new ones, and then when they come up to obviously. Buying or selling a house, or from a lender's perspective, refinancing, or I work with builders and they're needing title work. Then they refer me business because I've offered value.
Sure.
Value deals.
Got it. Okay.
Instead of, there's other title companies out there that have this joint venture thing, and I don't want to go down that road. I've talked about it on the show before, but that's like a shared investment title company where they get a so-called share investment with how much business they send.
Okay.
I don't want to go down the road. But anyways, long story short, I just take a different perspective, and it's a relationship business. So I captivate relationships by having podcasts. People reach out to me, to be on the show. They get to talk about their business.
And you take people golfing.
Golfing, that's cool.
Fishing.
But fishing is my thing. Fishing and hunting. Fishing for specifically. I just invested like $3,000 into my boat, and I'm really excited about it.
If you want to go fishing, call Alex.
The Beeve.
The Beeve.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, what's the future look like for KLT? Anything big coming up that you can share?
Man, it's just coming up with the next greatest idea. KLT is an amazing institution in radio. They've been on the air since 1982, and it's just a powerhouse of a radio station. The audience is massive. We always get to say we're number one, and the salespeople, and you just don't be number one by being on the air. It's like you got to have the right support department. You got to have the right general manager. You got to have the right salespeople, because if you don't sell,
radio advertising.
Sell radio advertising. It doesn't make any sense to have high ratings. You got to be able to sell that. So you got to have the right salespeople. You got to have the right promotions. You got to have the right engineers to keep you on the air and have everything sound great. And you being able to do remotes, and then the salespeople sell remotes. And then, much like your business, it's about developing relationships. This broadcast company called Midwestern Broadcasting has been in Traverse City for 3 generations. They're on the third. There's the grandfather and Les Biederman, who started it in 1941 in this town, helped build NMC College, helped build the hospital, it started the first radio station here, which was a great story about 1941, we were at World War II, and he made a plea to the federal government that here he'll bring an emergency broadcast system and AM radio. He'll build a bomb shelter, which will be the radio station. That's the building I work in every day. He said, I'll invite the community. If we get bombed, it's a bomb shelter. Plus, I'll be able to communicate with the masses. And they accepted his offer. They helped him finance. I don't know how much of the finance they did, but they allowed him to build the radio station, build the building. And the building was completed in 1945. And guess what? War's over, 1945. So it really helped springboard this radio station, which radio stations, I mean, you got to have the towers, you got to have the transmitters, you got to have the FCC. It's federally overseen. And so then his son took over the business in the early 80s, and he just retired recently. And now it's his stepson, Chris Warren, that's running it. And these are people that really care about you. I mean, I've worked at radio stations that don't give a rat's ass. But this company is like, they found out my mother was sick, and he's like, take as much time as you need. Your job's here when you get back. And I said, can I broadcast from Connecticut? He goes, absolutely. Let me get an engineer to get you the right equipment, and you just take care of your mom. You don't worry about this place. That kind of, I mean, it's genuine too. This other woman, her mother got sick, and they sent her flowers to her desk. I mean, it's like, you want to go to bat for those people. You want to work hard for them. And he says, listen, look, I'm the general manager, but this is what I do. I make coffee, and I make sure you have the tools you need to be successful. He's like, I'm very hands-off. I just hire good people. I hire great people and let them do their job.
Doesn't sound like a micromanager to me.
And then you want to fight for that guy. I'll kill for him. If he wants to knock somebody off, man, I'll do it. Anyway, that's the mentality that you get people working for you like that believe, are so thankful to be here, and you're motivated to do. I want to do the best job for him. I want to knock it out of the park so bad every time.
Sounds like my approach to the industry. Like I kind of took this unique approach, and I shared it with my bosses, and I said, and they're like, well, we just need to see deals flow through. We need cash flow. I said, watch me. And then they said, oh man, we're really busy right now. I said, no, this is nothing. Watch me. Next year, we grow another 35-40%.
That's right? Incredible, man. Look, but it's the whole ball of wax. And I'm so lucky to be working at this radio station for this company. They acquired us about 4 or 5 years ago. And when they bought from another company that was selling the radio station, this was an owner in the Dakotas. And he was selling the radio. They picked it up, and Chris Warren takes me out for lunch. And he goes, if I buy KLT back, will you come back and do mornings? I felt like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Like, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? And I was like, hell yeah. I was like, let's go. So, I mean, it's great, man, to work. Radio around the country gets a reputation that it's just one company. And there is a major company, and they lose. It's based on shareholders and investments, and they got to make a profit. So they just cut. And this is like growth. So it's a unicorn in the business. And it's because hire great people, let them do their jobs. And they have 3 generations of advertising relationships. Like, let's say Deering's. Deering's has been going on since the 40s. It's a meat store, right? But they've expanded, and they have play. And so he's like, the guy that runs it and owns it, Paul, he said, my grandfather owned it, and he knew Les Biederman. So it's like, and those relationships are 3 generations strong. So you developed relationships way back then, and they stay with, it's kind of like you stay as a family together, take care of each other, and it's really wonderful. It's really wonderful.
Yep.
I love working where I do. It's so fun. And plus, my job is just to have fun, so we get listeners. And my whole philosophy is, if we're having fun, it's probably fun to listen to. If we're laughing and having a great time, it's like, it's gloomy and rainy and sleet, and you're like, this show's having such a great time, laughing and joking and being silly, and also being real, having the whole broad spectrum of, information and analysis and local focus and what's going on this weekend locally, where the band's playing, making fun of the intern, having them hit the streets and do some wild, wild stunts and stuff. Not, don't take yourself too seriously.
Try to get me to go downtown and find a homeless person, so we try to help them get a job or something like that, or whatever that bit was.
Change a life. Yeah.
Let's
see what do they need? What is the homeless like?
Or going to pick up men.
How can we help you find a place?
Go pick up Mr. Wendy behind this gas station. This garbage place or whatever it was.
So it was fun to have the town drunk on. Which is, you go to a bar and you meet somebody with a super funny personality. It's like, let's put him on the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's, thinking out of the box, being creative. That's always great. It's the biggest, when it comes to my job, the biggest, it's not an obstacle, but the biggest challenge is coming up with things every day.
Yeah.
And,
I can't imagine.
Let's say, for instance, remember David Letterman or any of these nighttime talk shows? Sure. Usually they have like 16 to 25 producers. They have A-list guests, and the show's an hour long, but it's only 40 minutes really with commercial breaks.
Right.
And they have a musical guest. They'll have Tom Petty, they'll have the biggest actor, Taylor Swift will be on Seth Meyers or something. It's like, man, they got it good. They've got guests, they've got budgets, they got writers. We got nothing. But we have each other. It's myself, Finster, and we have Mary Dew, and we have a news director that comes in so we have resources, but it is, I sit at home and I'm like, what's tomorrow? What could I talk about? So you watch the news, you see what's going on in pop culture, you go to movies, you go see a band, stories come. But that is a challenge, and then the show is over. It's like, wow, that was a great show. It's like, what are we going to do tomorrow? It's like, oh. And so week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, your world gets a little smaller.
But then I can imagine also, like, you're talking about whatever, and then all of a sudden you get this call or something comes up, and you're just like, oh, screw the script.
You got it, 100%. You got to be able to call audibles, and if something's happening or something,
you find it entertaining for your audience,
or you get a caller from a lady that is going through something, and you take time to ask her the right questions. Then you got a guy calling on the other line, wants to give her a car. Like, I got a car, it runs great, but she's like, I can't even get to work, and I gotta, and this guy's like, I'm gonna give you my car. or some guys like, I don't know, needed money for Christmas or something, and somebody came down, give them $1,000, like, because the power of radio, you don't know who's listening out there. And I love to connect the dots, a need with a resource. Somebody lost their dog. How many countless dogs have I found? We also do a lot of pet adoption promotion with the Cherryland Humane Society, and we've raised through Camp Omelette. I've got this camping event that people just come and party. We have bands, and we take over the whole place. We have it at Twisted Trails Off-Road Park. I think have you been? Not at that one?
Not that one yet, nope.
But anyway, it's
100 nowadays. I should have done it years ago before I had kids.
After paying for the bands and the costs involved with putting on an event like that, we've raised well over $100,000 for the animals, and that's where I'm at. I don't have kids. I'm in dogs. Mm-hmm. I love dogs. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't love dogs? You better love dogs. And anyway, it just feels good to do so. We call it party with a purpose.
Yeah.
So let's party. Let's have a good time. Let's have bands and everybody getting together and being super friendly. But let's also write a big check. You know, feels good.
Yeah.
Party with a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's it in a nutshell. Having fun, making a difference, and learning along the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Appreciating the opportunities that you have. That's a big part of it. Gratitude, man, is huge.
I was on my way in this morning giving plugs for the show. I appreciate that, man, and a little bit of plugs for my company over here. And like I said, the show isn't always a bit related to real estate or people that are like influencers in the real estate, like inspection companies or appraisals or builders or whatever. It doesn't. It's about the community and the backstory of me and who I know and the power of marketing, broadcasting, radio, whatever you want to call it, because this right here, this platform is to highlight people, experiences, businesses, and then it comes full circle, and then I earn business transactions. And it's entertainment. I love my job. I love what I do. He loves what he does. I don't feel like I'm ever working, ever.
It was a good point that you said it's not all about real estate, and why I listen to Jack Lane on WTCM 580 AM Saturday mornings at 8 o'clock, Ask the Real Estate Guy, is that he's not hard selling anything. He's talking about baseball. He's talking about his travel. It's very personal. And then he throws in some real estate knowledge as well. So, it's not like a boring infomercial. I mean, it's the opposite. Sometimes at the last 10 minutes, it goes, okay, we got to talk some real estate. And then he gives his points, but it's like, nobody likes a hard sell.
Right.
It's relationship building.
I like to call it, you could kind of tie this in. I like to call it pleasantly persistent. Okay. So like instead of like asking for the business or like talking about the business all the time, you're like adding value, or you're getting to know the people by taking them out fishing or whatever, right? Like I can't tell you how much business I'm drummed up by like taking somebody out on my boat.
Right.
Literally. Like I don't need to have coffee. I mean, I do have coffee.
And your relationship, you're building relationships.
Lunch.
And as people have needs, they'll keep you in mind. I mean, it's very smart. And people are kind of sometimes maybe a little skeptical of somebody that's too in your face, or just like, I'm thinking about it. I'll give you a call when I can. Yep, give me a call. And if you want to go fishing, let's go. But I'm proud of you, Beav. And I do have to go. I've got to go to the resort. I'm going on a weekend staycation. But I'm proud of you because you're obviously very passionate about your business. You've always been on time, follow up, professional, and fun to talk to, and just good guy.
I appreciate that.
And I love that you've created a success, and that's really good to see as somebody that.
Well, it all started like when I used to be on the show. We're gonna let him go here in a sec. But when I used to be on the KLT show, I was so nervous. Right when I got that mic right in front of my face, especially on that platform. Like not starting off with an audience of maybe 50 or 100 people. We're starting off with an audience of hundreds of thousands. Let's say, you know what I mean. But TC Title Guy podcast. Please be sure to like and subscribe below. Is there anything else you want to say, brother?
Where can I watch this?
YouTube, TCTITLEGUY
Okay,
podcast.
it's YouTube. Great.
It's on. I never talk about this. I should. I'm sorry. It's on Spotify. It's on all Apple Podcasts. It's on all platforms. It's syndicated across everything. So yeah.
Listen to WKLT in the morning and all day long. It's at WKLT.com. You can listen online. Just find us. We're Traverse City. We're all over northern Michigan. We're on 3 signals. We're in Petoskey, Boyne, and we have a signal over in Alpena, Rogers City. So, I guess you could say we're syndicated, but to cover all of northern Michigan with a northern Michigan focus.
Absolutely.
So KLT in the morning, Omelette and Finster, thank you so much.